Yeah.
All right, voice recording podcast, Michael, Greg, and Michael. We might have to change the name of that. This is
MGM. I don't know.
MGM. I like that. This is our reenactment podcast. Creeper Michael versus Gazelle.
Not Creeper Greg. We're doing the not Creeper
Oh,
Greg.
not Creeper Greg. Oh, it's Creeper Michael versus Greg. That's right.
Are your coworkers coming back? Are they going to think that's creepy?
This podcast is to discover, maybe enlighten one of our crew here about creepiness.
Maybe we should introduce ourselves now.
All right, go ahead.
Who are you? No, you.
I'm Michael. This is Michael Espinoza. I'm bearing witness to the Creeper Michael Greg story. Michael is not really a creeper, but in this story he's demonstrating some creepiness. Here's Michael.
Once you get the backstory, you'll understand why. But yes, I am Creeper Michael, and we're at.
We've donned costumes, or at least Michael has.
That's just my nickname for tonight. Don't worry, it'll all change.
Beanie cap is back on.
I've got a beanie cap. Beanie caps are apparently one of the most creepiest articles of clothing anyone could wear.
We are going to Greg's.
Well, actually,
garage.
we're on Greg's. We're at Greg's work. Can I say this, Greg? Can I talk about your workplace? Actually, you want to introduce yourself real quick? Here, Greg. Here, Greg, go ahead.
Yeah, this is Greg's work. All right, so we're in the parking garage in the basement. It's a little bit echoey, but that's gonna be all right. It's a little bit effect. Okay, so here we go. Right. So I literally was parked right here. This is where I parked. Not true. Not true. He was down at this pillar over here. Not true. You were at this pillar.
I could watch you guys. I could watch. I could see the door.
I agree that wouldn't be as creepy, but you were down at that pillar.
You remember how I have some dirt on my back?
They all have dirt on them right now.
Is that dirt not on my back right now?
No, it's lower on your pants now because you didn't lean up against it with it's on your butt.
Is that not enough evidence for you?
Lean up against this one, see if there's dirt on this one. How is that evidence?
Am I properly dusted?
Yes.
Where did you park? How often do they dust these pillars?
Never.
Where did you
They don't dust the pillars.
Where did I didn't.
He parked down at
the brewery.
the brewery down
So
there.
you walked into here? Through that giant door?
No, through that door over there.
It's still open because it was about 5:55. I came down here. Yeah.
So this is where you were?
No, I was at that pillar. Because, okay, check this out. Greg was parked at number 7. See, I remember that number. I could see it from where I was sitting. I said, what did I say? Number 8 was between me and Greg. His car was facing this way. And then that woman, her blue, she was driving a blue SUV. And I believe she was over here, probably number 2, I want to say. When she got to about right here is where she looked back, saw me, looked back at the door, looked back at me, continued on her way. Not much farther, mind you. Over here. Opened her door. I couldn't see her at this point. I didn't see what she was doing, but I see.
She was calling 911.
Police, help me.
I was watching her, but I couldn't see her because she had tinted mirrors, but she was backing out. She backed out this way, and then she drove out.
Okay, so coming out of this door, my car's right there. It's always this bright.
Yeah.
That's what I saw.
Yeah.
That's what I saw. That's exactly what I saw. I remember.
Can you lean up on that pillar that you were leaning on?
He says he's leaning there, but he wasn't leaning there. That wouldn't be nearly as creepy. So the reason that I know that it was that one down there is because I walked towards him this way, and I still was almost lying with this pillar, and I still was walking over there. So
Why
like,
were you walking towards him? Oh, after you noticed him?
maybe I'm crazy. Maybe you were on that pillar. Now that I'm doing the reenactment.
Well, what I'm noticing is that I think you could ignore him being at that by coming out here and seeing your car. Even though it is really bright in here,
Yeah.
it's extremely bright. I'm gonna actually take a picture of the scene of the
I
crime.
I might be the crazy one, but still, like,
No, what I'm saying is you're coming out, you got your keys, you're like, oh, I'm getting ready for
doing
my
your
day.
thing.
At what point do you move?
Do I move? Oh,
Like-
where is he?
when he notices me, like when he
No,
notices me, I get
I'm
upset.
almost
He
like,
says he didn't notice you till you moved.
Yeah, he moved when he came to the door. He was
No, he didn't. Did you jump? Or
no, like, so I get like this, right? I get like this. I'm doing my thing. I get to like here, and then Michael moves,
Yeah, you're somewhere. Yeah, you're
like
somewhere
around in here.
in there.
So like, he could have acknowledged me like any one of these feet back here.
I was like, hey, Greg, I'm here. I didn't acknowledge him whatsoever.
So at this point, like he's got the jump on me. Like, he starts to lean forward, and I'm walking this way. He's got to take like 4 steps, and I'm already off guard because I didn't see him, you know. If he was gonna mug me, that was the perfect situation for a mugging, you know.
I don't know. He's 20 feet away from you.
Right, but what I'm
If
saying
he's
is
gonna
like,
mug you, he better be armed.
I have no weapons on me.
how do I know that? You're.
No knife, no gun, no
It's easy.
gunshots,
It's
nothing.
well.
This is a true.
This
reenactment
gets back to
because
our same
he
discussion
left
from
all of those
before.
things in the car.
If you automatically assume that because you don't have a knife or a gun on you, that other people are gonna assume that you don't have a knife or a gun on you when they think you're a mugger.
Should I also assume that you work here and that you're not armed? And that maybe you're not an undercover cop or a undercover security
You know who
guard?
I am. You're looking at me.
Right. Oh,
When I first-
but that's different.
Yeah, no, like when I
Okay.
first look up, right?
Yeah.
I think that you might possibly be a
Right.
mugger because you don't acknowledge me till I'm
I
like
get that.
8 feet out the door.
I would have thought.
So
that-
why
I
you
would've
why you
thought
trying
the
to
same
why you
thing.
trying to
No,
put
I'm
this
on
on?
your side. I
No,
agree with
you're
you.
not. You trying to
No,
say that I might not be, and I might not work here.
I think we need to vacate this echoey place because the argument's not going to be at all.
Oh yeah, let's get out of here.
discernible. But can I take a picture?
Yeah.
Can I add in something?
Wait, pause real quick.
Oh, we have to hear. Here's
Are we
Me, I
going?
was-
Yeah, we're back on.
Okay.
Oh, here's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Like, you remember how I told you that I was even considering like standing behind the pillar and surprising you? Like, just imagine, Michael, if I was standing behind that pillar and I waited for Greg to get
Behind the pillar you were at?
Yeah.
Like on the opposite side of where you
Yeah.
were? Or even
So
like
on
the
the
he
opposite
was
side of the
he was
door,
thinking about
yeah.
being way more creeper,
Yeah.
and then he decided against it, which I
So,
guess is a plus in
How
his
many
favor.
other cars were in there?
It was
I guess that's
probably-
Not
another-
that many.
There was a couple. There's probably about the same as there right now. So maybe let's say like if we're gonna quantify it for the people that can't see what we saw, let's say like 5 to 6.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I would agree with that.
But they're sporadic. I mean, there's like maybe 20, 30 parking spots. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, they didn't need to be that sporadic unless you guys have like assigned parking.
No, I mean like normally during the day. The reason we have that many parking spots is that during the day we need that many parking spots. Is just that most people leave before 6 o'clock. Most people leave before before 6 o'clock. So.
Right.
So that's why it was empty. I mean, like the remaining cars that were left over are like the people that left over. Maybe somebody leaves a car over there for the weekend, like a spouse or a friend, or someone else picks them up.
The old 9 to 5, huh?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So-
ye old 9 to 5.
So the reason we're having this conversation at all is because of
I was just about to get to that. That we need to mention that because our audience needs to know. We might even want to edit that into the beginning of the video. What we're about to say right now.
Spit it
What
out.
Michael's
Get
about
it.
to say
Yeah,
right now.
put it out
yeah,
there.
sorry.
So we started a conversation with Greg saying that Creeper Michael did some creeper stuff to
Gazelle.
Janelle.
Gazelle. That's
Sorry, I called her Gazelle earlier because that's a word I use, and
Gazelle.
Janelle is not a
Gazelle.
word I've used
Gazelle
very
beat.
often. So Janelle was the unnamed person until just recently.
She probably should still remain unnamed.
We will not.
can't-
Now that we put it on there, we're gonna bleep it out when we say
All
it
right.
on
Unless
the
she's cool
podcast.
with it. Unless she's cool with it. Though,
Yeah,
'cause
get
you're
like
gonna say it. You're gonna.
get
you're
to
gonna
an
mention it to her at work
explicit written
tomorrow, right?
permission. Yeah, especially now. Oh man, all right.
Okay, so Michael described a situation where an attractive younger woman in her early 20s steps out of this business into a enclosed parking garage. It's like the basement parking garage. She comes out of work. Michael assumes that she.
Wait.
Michael just doesn't care. He's just doing his own thing.
Michael assumes that she doesn't feel threatened.
No, I did not assume that. I had in my mind that I am a potential threat.
Wait. No, wait. I want to say something. The original story was presented that she came out, and it was perceived maybe by Greg and myself that Michael had made eye contact with when she stepped out of this doorway, and then Michael didn't say anything.
I'm pretty sure that Michael Lee said that she looked back again. I seem to remember the phrase "back again."
Okay, so she steps out. It's understood that she sees Michael as she steps out, and Michael doesn't say anything. He goes back to he's leaning up against a pillar, playing with his iPod. He goes back to looking at his iPod. She walks away from him towards her car, and at about halfway to her vehicle, she turns around again, at which point Michael, for whatever reason, looks up also, and they make eye contact, and this is the again part.
Whether we say it again or not, that's
whatever. This is where the
perceived as again.
So
she must have saw me before she looked back then, because she must have noticed me, right? Because why would she look back? Unless I made a sound or something and alerted her to my presence, which
hold on.
Quiet. Okay.
So hold on. Yeah. So we can't speak for. We can't speak for.
Oh, will it not pick me up?
Well, I don't know.
I'm not sure.
We're in a pretty close place.
This is our first podcast.
Test
trial run. Might not be any good, but we'll see what happens.
So we don't know what this person's state of mind is. However, Greg and Michael believe, not Michael in the creeper position right now, but the other Michael.
Michael we call Espinoza and Lee.
Espinoza, okay.
It's yourself. You're talking about yourself in the third person.
Yeah. Well, I said okay.
So Michael Lee is the person who's leaning against the pillar at this point.
That's me.
But the point is, we don't know what the young woman's state of mind is, and Michael Lee believes that she is in a neutral state of mind, not in a threatened.
Potentially threatened.
No, wait.
Yes.
I just want to interject here.
Yeah, interject.
Quick. Up until we established this point of the story was told a second time, we got into the nitty-gritty details as you described it, and that you didn't look at her the first time. Your entire argument was based on the fact that why should you have to say anything to this girl, because that assumes that you it's a sexist thing, and that you as a male should be able to do your own thing and not have to say anything. So your whole
point of view of what versus the point of view of what?
That
the first your Michael Lee's view
I get what
has been up until we started recording. I will add, by the way,
we had a conversation about this earlier. We just started recording because we thought it's something that needs to be discussed.
And Greg and I shared a different opinion.
What's
the different opinion? What's the different opinion that we shared?
Yeah,
our opinion was that by the fact that Michael is a single male by himself.
But
wait.
Single. Yeah.
Individual,
not single as in not
relationship status.
Relationship status is not important at this point.
How would she even know my relationship status?
Exactly. That's why single
that.
is used in the form of an individual, not as single as a form of marital status.
Maybe you should say alone, or
okay.
a lone
Fair
guy,
enough.
a lone wolf, or
I'll
something
use
like that.
all right, a lone wolf. We'll go. Michael is a lone wolf.
Just
ready to
clarify.
pounce.
Well,
in this. poised on all fours,
he did
growling.
He did say that his offensive tactic, or what did you say? We'll get to that. We'll get to that. Again, we gotta my best defense, my best offense.
We gotta establish like where we're at first,
well,
right?
Just that
for the audience.
Yeah.
Okay.
For you guys, the listeners.
So, his point of view was that he can just be doing his own thing, and like he doesn't have to worry about whether Caesar is a threat or not. Our point of view, our being Greg and Michael Espinoza, was that a lone wolf male in a dark, I mean, it's a well-lit, like, parking garage.
And this isn't
however, it's
matter.
late at night, right? Late being 6 o'clock p.m. I'm about
in
to go to bed.
Colorado, it was very dark.
Right. So
there was a
it's in a parking.
garage.
It's in a parking garage, isolated. A young female in her 20s. The argument that we were trying
on a Friday,
which makes it so much more intimidating.
That was
and
also part
threatening,
of our argument.
Is that a young female instantly perceives a male standing alone by himself as a potential threat,
as opposed to like a few guys,
which is also a potential threat.
Probably
less
a
so
greater
than one
threat
guy.
because of mob mentality.
Right, mob mentality.
But we don't need to
But
get into
that's-
that. I'm just
yeah,
pointing
no,
out.
that's
So that's kind of a.
That's not a good argument.
That's a red herring. You're distracted from the argument at hand. The point is.
Okay. Yeah.
The
No, this
point,
is serious.
The point is, right?
Yeah.
Is that we don't have to be serious, but I'm just trying to not distract.
No, this is it. Yeah, and I want to get to this. I said earlier, I defended myself on these grounds, saying that I am aware of rape culture. Remember?
Wait,
that
no.
Yeah. Did I not say that?
He did sort of say
at
that.
after we acknowledged that you were a potential threat. There was a whole conversation
But
that happened there.
you tried to defend yourself
As
from
a-
that threat.
From
though.
being a potential threat?
Yeah,
You-
you're like you
I would-
said, you were arguing your point of view that you weren't considered a threat to her
that
versus our point of view.
Your point of view was fundamentally
Yeah.
that people have a neutral standpoint until you become threatening. So
No,
like,
I never said that. I said that
That
I
was
am
your
a potential
whole-
threat.
No.
Every time you said
He
threat,
did say
every
did
time
say,
you said the word threat, I would clarify and say potential threat. That is the
he
way.
did say that, yes, but I mean I think the weight of it is that he doesn't consider himself a threat because he knows he's not a threat, versus she doesn't know you're a threat, and that a woman's point of view is that males are threats. And I think that it was my opinion that you didn't really acknowledge that is how women think. Like,
Okay.
generally.
Yeah, so
you
you
were
got-
saying, like, not every woman thinks like that. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That it's possible that not
So,
every woman.
basically,
might
we're
think
just,
like that.
we were arguing both of those sides. And then the true story came out that she came out, Michael Lee looked up, but she didn't make eye contact with him at that point. He went back to playing on his iPod, and after she continued to walk further, she then kind of looked back, and that's when they made eye contact. But she's much further away, like at least 40 feet away. Far less a threat. I mean, even if he started to run at her, she would have a good chance to get to her
I
vehicle
feel
or
like
whatever,
we're missing
but-
the meat and the potatoes
Get
of
to the
the
meat and potatoes
discussion, right? The real juicy part of it, and that was whether or not, given the situation of being a potential threat, should you verbally acknowledge your situation, or is it worth it to not say anything to this person? Is it more threatening to say something or to not say something? That's the real
That is-
juicy
that's
part
true,
of the
that is
argument
true.
that we've.
Greg went over that quite a few times.
That's what our conversation was about. That's what we talked about for 30 minutes before we started this podcast. So
Easily
Yeah,
30 minutes. We had
that's-
a wonderful discussion, actually. That was fantastic. I'd do it again.
definitely, yeah.
Yeah,
It's been a-
Michael never really said. You never said anything about that, though. You kind of just kept defending your position, but you didn't
Well,
really say anything about that.
I don't know if you remember, I did actually address that. I said that, yeah, one of my potential reactions to her coming through the door, us not making eye contact right away, I could have spoken up and said something, to get her attention, be like, hey, here I am.
But you thought it might be creepy because...
Yeah, I thought I could potentially say something creepy, or just me like surprising her, kind of, like hey, hey lady, or whatever it is that I might say, whatever it is that I could possibly have conceived in that short amount of time that I noticed her to the time that she actually came through the door. Whatever I could have conceived in that time, it might have sounded creepy to her. That did go into consideration in that split second of time that I had to think about what I should do. So so because we didn't make eye contact when she came through the door, so I just went back to doing my own thing. And then by the time she was like 15 feet away from the door now, like walking away from me, which, mind you, is a potentially dangerous situation, right? She's got her back turned to me. I'm just some stranger leaning up against a pillar in a private parking garage. I mean, like, who knows what I was gonna do to her then. So which of course I knew what I was gonna do to her then, which was nothing, which was just continue to ignore her.
And do your own thing. That's what you said. And do my own thing.
My best offense.
Yeah.
My best offense was to not say anything and post up against the pillar.
So basically, this retelling of this story, which was just to just recount the situation, turned into kind of an intervention because I don't know if it was... Well, there was the misunderstanding. Like, the story didn't initially come out with the non-eye contact until she was further away. And the intervention seemed to be going poorly until Michael cleared that up. But
the intervention being that Michael felt that he should not say anything when being in a situation in front of a girl where he may be perceived as creepy.
Right.
And the intervention on our part was to make sure that he understood that it would be beneficial if he said something to a girl and acknowledged that he was not going to try and rape, murder, kill, death.
And Greg was like, I want to make sure the people I hang out with
are not murder, death, kill potential suspects.
So I think that's funny. Like, he was almost voted off the island.
Yeah.
Michael Lee was almost voted off the island.
Michael Lee was almost voted off the island.
Yeah. So
hence the beginning of this wonderful podcast.